Niamh Arthur of the Stay at Home Family with today's edition of the Scientific Happiness Project. So I've been receiving a lot of messages from viewers kind of talking about the big thing that's come up for them in watching the videos, kind of either an emotion that they're very addicted to, or a pattern that they tend to fall into, or a challenge that they've had with some of the solutions. And now, one thing is, it's really important not to fall into this trap that happens when you start to go into personal development, particularly when you start to look at the science behind why you do what you do. Because when you realize there's a reason for it, all of a sudden sometimes it takes on this very, very heavy weight. Suddenly this is this burden. You're not just someone who occasionally feels, a little crap. You're someone who has an emotional addiction, or you're someone whose brain is wired to think that way, and then it's like, even in the solution, it's this heavy weight upon you that like, oh my God, now I have to meditate. And now all of a sudden meditation is something that you don't want to do because it's a have to. And it's like, oh God, now I have this big problem I have to deal with, right? It becomes very serious very fast. And the truth is, you can have serious things going on in your life, but the level to which you take them seriously is the level to which they will affect your happiness, your sense of peace, your sense of well-being. And there's a couple of things that you can do to kind of make sure you don't fall into this trap and to get yourself out of it if you find yourself there. For me, absolutely, I've had that happen in the past. When I realized at 16 that I had like this extreme anxiety disorder, it was like, I have an extreme anxiety disorder, and it all had to be dealt with and it had to be managed. And then I got really annoyed anytime anyone would joke about having OCD and stuff like that, because it's like, you have no idea what that does to your life when you're living it. But I've realized quite recently that actually the joking is incredibly positive. The joking is incredibly good. If we can take some of the burdens of our lives and find ways to find them funny, and to find them fun, and to realize that it's just part of life. It's actually incredibly helpful. So as you're digging into the science behind this stuff, don't let the science become so significant that then you realize that you have all these burdens and all these things that have to be worked through and that have to be worked on, and that you have to meditate, and that you have to, what was the other thing we were talking about? NLP, you have to reprogram your brain, all this stuff. This should be fun. And one of the best ways you can make it fun is to make a game of it. People, for some reason, we're addicted to games. And when we're playing games, this is actually something that my friend Jen talked to me about, almost a year ago now. The significance of playing games, in that it frees us from the kind of burden of the problem and allows us to focus entirely on the solution, and we can get really creative and we can really enjoy the process when it's a game. So when you can take a game, simulate what you need to do within a game, it just kind of uses a whole different side of you. It turns off some of the analytical, anxiety, worry, burdensome part of your mind and puts it into the fun, playful part of your mind, right? So one thing I would suggest would be, okay, it's great when you notice that you have problems. That's fantastic, because you can't solve them until you've identified them, unless you're incredibly lucky. So once you've identified them, then you need to think, okay, what's the solution? If you don't know the solution, go back and watch a bunch of Scientific Happiness Project videos. We've got meditation, we've got NLP, we've got reprogramming your mind, we've got neuroplasticity, we've got goal setting, we've got all kinds of stuff in here, all kinds of tools and resources that you can use. So think of yourself as whatever avatar you would be, as whatever little character that you would have. You can even create that little character for yourself on your computer or something like that. So it's something that you can see yourself as that person. So instead of Niamh Arthur, very serious person, then I am Niamh Arthur, fairy queen, whatever it is that I absolutely love to think of myself as. And something that you'd feel powerful in, think of the kind of, characters you would play in a video game. So something that makes you feel powerful. And then construct yourself a points system. So it could be Every time that you sit down and do 20 minutes of meditation, you get 5 points. Every time you stop yourself in the middle of anxiety, recognize it, and flip and pivot to something new, you get 2 points. Every time you spend time with your kids laughing and having fun, you get 3 points. So you know, whatever it is that you've identified as the kind of pitfalls and problems, when you do things that are going to help you rewire your brain or change your brain or immediately change in that situation, get happy, those things should be, you know, points. And then you can find somewhere that you can mark it down. If you have the kind of family who would kind of get it, you can make it a family game and they can give you points. There can be negative points when they catch you complaining about something or whatever it is. And then have yourself a reward when you reach a certain number of points. So that could be that you go out and you get a massage when you hit 100 points. It could be that you that your family takes you out to dinner to treat you when you hit 100 points. It could be that you go off on a weekend getaway. It can be really whatever you want it to be, something that would be fun. Think fun in all this. Fun. What would make the solution more fun and less significant? And when you feel like it gets really significant, you know, go make funny faces at yourself in the mirror, you know, like that. Do something that helps you take yourself less seriously. Because yes, you're an important person, and yes, these things are important in your life, and yes, all the changes that you want to make are vital, but in the doing of them, you can enjoy the process. And when you're not taking yourself so seriously, you'll find that you're more creative, that you have more fun, and it works better. I think my family's coming upstairs, so I will see you in the next video. Make sure that you've liked the Facebook fan page and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate you. Go have some fun. Go create a fun game for yourself. Take all the seriousness out of it, because change, true change, and changing your mind will happen so much quicker when you enjoy it. Alright, love you guys. See you in the next video.